Conference on ESPN. Just the third meeting all time here downtown in Louisville today between the 14th ranked Louisville Cardinals and the Cardinal of Stanford. And we welcome you courtside in what we expect to be a near capacity crowd with Corey Alexander, Wes Durham. Great to have you with us. The Cards have won 8 straight, Corey. They've been terrific. Stanford's won 3 of their last 4. And when you talk about Louisville, they got scores everywhere, and they added to the 30-burger list the other night.
Absolutely. 4 separate Cardinals have scored 30 or more throughout this season, but we had a special performance last time out. Terrence Edwards Jr. went to work. 35 points for him, 11 of 19 from the field. As a matter of fact, WD, he scored 15 of their first 17 points. He was all over the floor and also did the job defensively, holding Jeremiah Wilkinson in single figures. So when you think about what he does, that could get him on the first team alongside this guy, Maxime Reynaud, who is an absolute lock on first team All-ACC this year, leading the league in rebounding, second in scoring, not only a threat and the best big man in the league, but also a threat from beyond the arc.
If it wasn't for generational talent, he might be the ACC Player of the Year. You see the details on his season. He's had 20 or more 11 times in conference play already this year as the 21-year-old senior from Paris. So, what are the stakes today? Well, you know Louisville is neck and neck with Clemson, who plays later tonight on ESPNU against Virginia Tech. So Edwards and the Cardinals, they need a win, a Duke loss and a Clemson win, and they're the top seed in Charlotte next week. There is this 3-way math equation in the tie-breaking process with Louisville, Clemson, and Duke. Carolina figures into it as well. Stanford, pretty clear cut. They need a win, or they need Georgia Tech, who starts in about 15 minutes, to lose in Winston-Salem. They already know they're playing on Wednesday at Spectrum Center in Charlotte.
And fortunately, by knowing that they're going to be playing on Wednesday, the Cardinals are actually going to go back to the West Coast after this game and then return east to Charlotte. So when you look at the ability to know that you're going to have that single bye, it gives them flexibility to go back and see their family and friends before they head east to the ACC tournament.
These two teams have not met since an NCAA regional at Rupp Arena in Lexington in 2007. And that was David Padgett and Edgar Sosa scoring 16, offsetting Brooke Lopez's 18. Louisville won 78-58. That Louisville team went to the Final Four with Rick Pitino that year. The Stanford team was coached by Trent Johnson.
Wow, I forgot Trent was actually at Stanford.
That was his first year. They went 18-13. Oh, that was the 2004 meeting, I should say. 2004 was the first time they played. That was at the Maui Invitational. Their last meeting, 2007. Still a long time ago.
It's been quite a while, since the Cards have faced the Cards. We got to make sure that only one of these groups has a plural to it.
Yep. So hang on to your S as we get going today from the Young Center. Here's Hepburn, and the Cards wear red against the Cardinals, who are in their black. Noah Waterman draws the start today. Rain Smith will not play. The terrific sharpshooter off of Pat Kelsey's roster this year, his first year at Louisville, and of course has done just a marvelous job. He has doubled the total in wins of what Louisville posted in the previous 2 years combined. Edwards with 1 to shoot, 3, nope, long 2 bounds away. Reynaud, his first rebound.
And a great patient defensive possession right there by the Cardinal, enforcing a tough shot at the end of the shot clock off the mark.
Osiah Sellers on the dump down to Reynaud.
You see immediately going to double team Reynaud when he catches the basketball on the block.
10 to shoot for Jalen Blakes. He's got Scott there. Hepburn the steal on the knockaway.
The ACC's leader in steals comes away with one early.
Louisville is not shy when it comes to offense. Here's Hepburn. On the drive, lob, Scott the catch and dunk.
You know, the best part about that, the timing of Scott. I believe Reynaud may have gotten a hand on that lob attempt. However, James Scott still able to adjust and finish it for 2.
69 dunks on 94 made field goals this year, Corey, for James Scott.
And throw 1-3 in the mix on that, but you also, it's not all about the dunks. but it is a huge part of what he does. And his connection with Chucky Hepburn has been fantastic. As you see, not sure if Raynaud got a hand on that one or not, but still great timing by Scott to be able to finish it off with one of the best in the ACC with assist in Chucky Hepburn.
And consecutive turnovers on the travel. And now look at here, the heavy defense by Blakes against Edwards with 15 to shoot.
It's one thing you know, Jay Blakes is absolutely going to get after it. Drawing the assignment, guarding Edwards on this possession. That basketball actually went off of Hepburn.
Josiah Sellers, ooh, what a handy dribble behind the back here. In traffic, too strong. Raynaud taps it out. Sellers along two is good.
Offensive rebound by Raynaud on that possession, tipping it out. That was an area where the Cards got beat up a little bit by the Golden Bears. On Wednesday, they gave up 13 offensive rebounds.
Here's Waterman, Hepburn in the corner, working against Ryan Argawal. And now here is Javon Hadley, yet another weapon in the Cardinal offense.
So, WD, I'm keeping track. Jalen Blakes has guarded all three perimeter players on each possession of this game and been successful in doing so. Started the game out guarding Chucky Hepburn on the first one, then Edwards, and on that opportunity stopped Hadley.
In the corner, Kamen. Back here for Agarwal, the sophomore from Texas, outside the Dallas area. Raynaud a three.
Got to get out on that.
55th three of the year.
Yeah, you can't give him that much space. Too much space for a guy that shoots it as well as Raynaud does.
Yep. Here's Hepburn. Back for Scott. And let's see the handoff. Edwards right back for Waterman. He'll launch a three out of the corner. That's good. Noah Waterman on the board. And 5 of his last 14.
Waterman came off the bench Wednesday night, very confident, doing the job on both ends of the floor, showing off his three-point prowess on that one, just squaring up Raynaud and knocking it down right in front of his face.
Hepburn really annoying Jalen Blakes, isn't he?
He absolutely is, and Chucky can absolutely get after it. When you consider guys that can put pressure on you with the basketball, we know what Blakes is capable of, but Chucky Hepburn can match that.
Scott the rebound off the Blakes miss. Tied at 5, and here's Hepburn on the quick attack. Nice bounce pass. Waterman will slip it for Edwards. Now here's Scott, who plays with the mask, having the oral fracture a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago. There's the drive and score by Hepburn.
Chucky Hepburn went about 12 minutes of game action before he made his first field goal on Wednesday night. Gets one early here, but now it's Edwards. Uh-oh. Wow.
Sellers clutched it and missed it twice. Kind of held your breath there for a minute, didn't you?
Yeah, but he had me almost speechless, hanging around in the air. I thought he was going to try to dunk that. Oh.
Waterman has his three, bothered by Aiden Kamen. The redshirt freshman knocks it away. 7-5, DeVille in front by a basket here early. We're underway at DeVille. Louisville 7, Stanford 5 here early, and look at the guys who have put 30 or more on the board for the Cards this year, including Hepburn and Edwards in the last two. Corey, what a chip that is to take with you to Charlotte and beyond if you're Pat Kelsey.
It really is, because you have all those guys playing confidently, and Hadley and Rain Smith, theirs happened earlier. But you're looking at a possible first-team All-ACC backcourt in Chucky Hepburn and Terrence Edwards Jr. Both those guys could have. Chucky's going to be on the first team.
All right.
Now,
look,
Edwards could have a big performance today. Honestly, WD, he's my 5th pick on the first team.
Okay. And I think it is the 5th pick that's going to be the variable in the voting for all-conference first team.
Yeah, very true. But when you look at what Edwards has done, it's not just about his offense. It's what he does defensively. Pat Kelsey has made it clear to us that he's the catalyst for the reason why they've been such a better defensive team in 2025.
Here's Edwards trying to shake Raynaud with a step-back three that's too strong. Waterman battling inside. His last touch that'll stay with Louisville. And, of course, the Cardinal under the direction of Kyle Smith. 55 years of age, 15 years as a head coach. And I want to tell you what, a program builder if there ever was one in college basketball.
And a great guy. Love having opportunities to talk with Kyle Smith. And again, most of the time we're not talking about basketball, but he loves the opportunity he has in front of him at Stanford. and allowing himself to represent the great university that they are.
Yep. Chucky Hepburn's got his second field goal. Louisville lead has grown to 4 here, just better than 5 minutes in. Kadir Traore, number 25 in the red for the Cards, is on the floor. Here's Reynaud running it down near the timeline. Nice pass through traffic. Sellers couldn't hang on to it. Turned over by Stanford. Here is Traore. Layup good.
And that's the last thing you can afford to do here at KFC Yum Center against the Cards is turn the basketball over, because they immediately turn into points on the other end of the floor.
9-0 run. Agarwal. Here's Reynaud against Traore. Maxime at about 18 feet. Hepburn in Louisville trying to extend this run. Traore, a transfer from Long Beach State, inside against Reynaud. Score.
Traore, who led the Cards in turnovers on Wednesday, is now leading them on the offensive end. The second bucket for him in this one as he continues to go out and stay in attack mode.
It shows you a little bit about, if you haven't seen the Cardinals play much this year and you're starting to see this, kind of rejuvenation or revival, as Kelsey terms it, you see the depth of the basketball team is more than scoring. They've got a lot going on here to make you believe they're capable of winning 1 or 2 in the tournament.
They really do, and when you consider they have so many guys that can help you win a game, and we got to remember they're playing without Casey Pryor, who they lost in the Oklahoma game much earlier this year.
Right.
They're playing without Rain Smith.
And Corey Johnson.
So again, this Louisville team has continued to be able to be successful despite losses throughout the year. And Pat Kelsey's done a tremendous job this season. But look at the PK effect. The last 2 years, 12 combined wins. This season, 24 wins and 17 ACC wins. One more here today, and they would be a part of the record holders, 18, which is the record for ACC wins in a year.
Osiah Sellers, 3 pounds away. Hammond saved it. Boy, what a throw to Blakes. They've got volleyballed around. Here's Edwards. Oh, a little hezzy in the one hand. First points for Terrence Edwards, Jr. And all of a sudden, the Ville is kind of rolling here now, Corey.
Well, this is what you expect to see when you come into this building.
13-0 run in the last 3 minutes. Blakes tries to snap it and does. It's a 3-ball from Jalen Blakes.
That's a tough shot and a big shot, because normally in the midst of a run, the last shot you want to take is a settle 3 where you're just facing up your defender, but not a shot that's too big for Jalen Blakes.
Rebound off the miss of Edwards by Reynaud.
We talk about all the award winners. The favorite for most improved player in the ACC, Jalen Blakes. In my opinion, this young man has truly been exactly what Kyle Smith needed at Stanford to help build that culture, especially with his ACC experience playing 3 years at Duke.
Delivered the bounce pass. Ryan Agarwal the layup, and there goes Traore. The Euro failed him.
See, that was the problem. He tried a Euro against the guy from France. You can't Euro against a European. He's not going for that.
You got to go hezzy like Edwards did.
There you go.
Yeah. Almost 8 minutes in. Sellers, who's had some big games in ACC play. Cameron does not score much. That one rattled out for him. He starts the ball game averaging just 2 points, 2.5 rebounds in conference play. We're 8 minutes in, and it's a 5-point Louisville lead. And Abubakar Traore for Hepburn here with 10 to shoot. What a quick bounce pass. Now Traore to work against Reynaud.
Now this is where Reynaud should absolutely have an advantage. Traore trying to back him down, giving away about 5 inches to Reynaud, who comes in over 7 feet tall.
Blakes tried to rip the bounce pass in. Cameron, the tough catch, couldn't score it. And the freshman trying to fight for his right inside and draws a foul. We'll take a break. Timeout on the floor. It's a 5-point lead for Louisville. Well, here at the KFC Yum Center on a gorgeous Saturday in downtown Louisville, the number 14 Cards lead Stanford by 5. Great to be with Corey Alexander. And the ball has been batted around a little bit here in the first 6 minutes in St.
Well, that was a great play by Hadley to be able to tip it to himself and then dropping it off to Edwards. A little fake. So not quite Rondo-ish, but of course we know Rajon Rondo from DeVille. So, you know, we'll give him a little credit on that, even though he went to the enemy around here.
All right, so you mentioned the Hepburn-Edwards combination. Rain Smith's not available today. It's another guy who scored 30. Javon Hadley had 30-plus against Clemson earlier this year. Not just next week in Charlotte, where I think they are a real threat. That ball got knocked away from Reno by Scott. If their defense is emerging, as Pat Kelsey tells us, and their threat of just the variety of guys who can score it, Corey, my heavens. They're going to be hard to get ready for.
They absolutely will be extremely difficult to get ready for, especially when you don't know if you're going to be playing them in the next game. So that's the problem. When you're looking at the fact that Louisville will have a double bye, that means that whomever they're playing will have played a game the night before.
Fall away by Scott. Or beg your pardon, that's Roos, Kenai Roos, the freshman. And Hepburn's recovery no good. Reno challenges, and finally, it is Okpara, Chisholm Okpara, the junior transfer from Harvard, who comes away with it.
The WD, we talk about those 4 30-point scorers, and those 4 guys are normally in the starting lineup. But maybe the most important of them all is the masked man out there in James Scott. He's the guy that really makes this go from a defensive standpoint, and also gives them that presence, that lob threat with Chucky Hepburn, which is such a huge part of their offense.
3 ball by Roos. And he'll run down his own rebound. Edwards working on Sellers. Reno backing him up. And Terrence Edwards, another basket in traffic. And one coming.
But these are the things that you don't recognize. The reason why Reno can't truly commit is because he knows that the lob threat in James Scott is behind him. And that's the one thing you don't want to give up, which allows Edwards to be able to get his shoulders past the defender, finish through contact, and get to the free throw line.
We welcome those of you who have just watched Georgia beat Vanderbilt in Athens to post the 20th win of the year for Mike White's Bulldogs. We're at the KFC Yum Center, downtown Louisville, number 14 Cardinals, hosting Stanford. Terrence Edwards has got 5, Chucky Hepburn 4 on the early attack for Louisville against one of the best players in the ACC, and that's the Cardinal big man, Maxime Reno, as Okpara misses the layup off the right side. You see some of the storylines with both these teams on this final day of play in the ACC. Waterman out of the right corner. Air ball to 3, and Okpara the rebound. Louisville hitting 42% from the floor. They're just 1 of 8, though, from behind the line, averaging almost 10 made threes a game.
A similar start to what they had on Wednesday night against Cal. Got off to a slow start offensively, but their defense keeps them in games until they can really get that offense going. Ended up being a blowout once they had a strong scoring second half.
Chucky Hepburn fighting for space inside. The scoop and score. Hepburn's got 6.
And Chucky Hepburn, of course, so dynamic in delivering the basketball to his teammates, close to 6 a game, which is good enough for top 2 in the ACC. Oftentimes can take it upon his own shoulders to be able to get to the rim and finish amongst the trees.
Terrence Edwards Jr., Kadir, Traore report back for Louisville. Edwards, of course, coming off of a huge night. Wednesday night against Cal, he had 35. Just adding to the list of any guy that can go off in a game for Pat Kelsey's first Louisville squad here. He has done a terrific job. The Cards are 24-6 playing today. Got a chance to post their 18th win in the ACC. Okpara missed the layup. Traore couldn't corral it. It'll stay with Stanford and a fresh 20 to shoot for Kyle Smith's team, who saw Louisville go on a 13-0 run to post this 10-point margin.
And Kyle Smith getting First team All-ACC, soon-to-be member, and Maxime Reynaud back on the floor. That was a quick rest for Reynaud. Of course, you look at this Stanford Cardinal team, and they're absolutely different without him on the court. Such a threat both inside and out.
You got Akpara off the floor, or Akpara stayed on the floor, and now Stanford going to have to use a timeout because Blakes could not put the ball in to the Cardinal big man. So a break in the action at the Yum Center. The Cardinals by 10 when we come back. Louisville 20, Stanford 10. Back with Corey Alexander, West Durham here at the Yum Center. And Corey, if you haven't seen Louisville play this year, you're just finding out about this unbelievable turnaround Pat Kelsey has posted in year one. One thing you need to know is they're an emerging talent defensively in his mind. And Reynaud fouled by Frank Anselm-Ebay off the baseline.
And that's just a veteran smart play by Reynaud as he's going into his shot and catches Frank Anselm-Ebay's hand in the cookie jar, goes into a shot, finds a way to get to the free throw line.
Reynaud 79%. He's made 100 free throws and 127 tries. Maxime misses that one. Now, did you notice a little meditation takes place here? Watch him. He'll close his eyes, Corey. Lock in.
Go to his happy place, WD. I mean, absolutely. You're in hostile territory right now.
Go to his happy place.
Yeah, you got to go. Listen, they don't have an S, okay? It's the Cardinal.
Yeah.
This is the home of the Cardinals. Yeah. So that means it's hostile territory for my guy, Maxime Reynaud. And he's got to go to his happy place at the free throw line to refocus.
Well, it bought him one of two. Here's Hepburn. Tried to dig in on Keeler and going to draw the foul. Benny Keeler, the junior from Palos Verdes Estates, California. It's his first. Second on Stanford. And that'll put Chucky Hepburn, one of two ACC stars from Omaha, Nebraska, at the line. The senior transfer from Wisconsin. You ready to pencil him in? Also first team All-ACC with Reynaud?
I'll put that in dark ink pen.
Concrete.
Both those guys are first teamers.
Don't forget, coming up, more college basketball over on ESPN 4:30 this afternoon. Oh, the Cats and the Jayhawks at Allen Fieldhouse, 4:30, and then the Sonic blockbuster tonight at Smith Center in Chapel Hill and Duke, Carolina, on ESPN and always available for you on the ESPN app. 8 for Hepburn. Edwards has 5. That's 13 of the 22. Keeler with Reynaud, Cameron, Sellers, and Blakes, who just committed an offensive foul.
Another smart play by Chucky Hepburn, just getting in the way, being a pest defensively, where he's been so great at all year long. 2.4 steals per game, but that won't go in as anything from a stat sheet standpoint, but it's just another smart play by one of the best point guards in the game. I'm still appalled by the fact that he's not on the Cousy award watch list.
Just amazing. By the way, the Blakes foul, the 5th turnover of this first half on Stanford. And Louisville's doubled the number on the visitors. Here's Traore in traffic. Anselm-Ebay strong to the basket, couldn't finish it. Cameron collects for Stanford, and the Cardinal with Benny Keeler bring it front court.
And Keeler, who started the year out as a starter alongside Jalen Blakes for the Cardinal, now coming off the bench, but gives him a viable three-point threat and someone who also can handle the rock.
Standing 3. And Blakes gets the rebound. Back for Keeler. Try it again.
2 for $1.
One more, huh?
Yeah, 2 for $1. Unable to get it going. But a great effort by Jalen Blakes to be able to come up with the offensive rebound, which has been a bit of a weakness for the Cards in the last couple of games.
And Hepburn in traffic, now with double figures.
0 weakness for Chucky Hepburn in this game.
You talk about perfect fits? Oh, this guy's been a perfect fit here.
He absolutely has been.
That ball got knocked away. Nice play defensively. Anselm-Ebay. Here's Edwards. Hadley a 3-ball. Too strong. Cameron the rebound.
But how about this crowd back, re-energized, emerged in this team and their success, hanging on every shot and play, everyone on their feet after a tremendous defensive stand.
Reynaud 3 bounces off. One and done are the Cardinal. Traore. Here's Edwards against Blakes. Pretty good matchup here. And Terrence lost it off his foot. That's going to get us to timeout.
Great matchup, but it's been all Cardinals in this game thus far. You got to put the plural on it because they turned defense into offense. Terrence Edwards Jr.
Gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Louisville. You're watching the ACC on ESPN, and the number 14 Cardinals lead the Cardinal of Stanford 24-11. And here's what we're talking about. Let's say you're a coach, you draw Louisville first round. Then all of a sudden, Louisville advances. You got a one-day prep on those prolific scores.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it so difficult to be able to go up against this team. No Rain Smith in this one today, dealing with a lower leg injury from Wednesday. But when you get him back, you've got 4 guys in the lineup who've gone for 30 or more in a game this year. By the way, Rain Smith did it with 10 threes at SMU. So second nationally at 3.5 3-point field goals a game, and that's only because he missed 35 minutes of action on Wednesday night. He probably will be back at first.
15 to shoot for the Cardinals. And here is Reynaud trying to get it to Sellers. Blake's hard drive in traffic. And the rebound for Scott. James Scott coming off the oral fracture against Miami earlier this month, playing with a brand new Hannibal Lecter mask. Hadley out of the corner, and there's the second 3 of the day for the Ville.
And a great play by Chucky Hepburn, really just keeping his eyes up, recognizing where everyone was defensively, trying to keep him out of the paint. As soon as he saw the ball side help defender coming his direction, delivered the strike to Hadley, was able to knock down the 3-ball.
Reynaud, bullet pass to the corner. Sellers tries to answer. Waterman the rebound. Feels like Louisville's doing a better job on the glass today, Corey, than they did Wednesday night.
They really are, and I'm sure that was a point of emphasis from their head coach, Pat Kelsey, who gets his point across in the most energetic of all fashions. And Chucky Hepburn off to a great start here in this first half. 12 points for him already, 5 of 6 from the field.
Louisville had a 13-0 run, now a 9-0 run, and Sellers snaps it with a 3 from the corner.
That's the second time that the Cardinals have snapped a long run with the 3-ball. However, still down 15 at this point, and the Cardinals having their way at home in the first half.
4.5 to go in the frame. Edwards with Hadley, Scott, Waterman, and Hepburn. This was the starting 5 today for Pat Kelsey. Hepburn a 3 at the front. Look at Reynaud go get it. And now Jalen Blakes will kind of walk with it into the front court here with 4:10 to go. Stanford shooting 22.7% in this first half, and they're coming off a night where they only hit a third of their field goals at Notre Dame in a tough loss. Missed by Agarwal. Here's Edwards. Scott one dribble, Hepburn. Nice pass, Waterman blocked by Reynaud, and that'll get us to a break.
Well, the Cardinals have done a tremendous job throughout this with finding their teammates, knocking down the 3-ball, and on the other end, Osiah Sellers returning the favor.
A dozen already for Chucky Hepburn. You see Stanford's made just one of their last 13 from the floor, and Kyle Smith's team, who was really impacted by a tough shooting night Wednesday at South Bend and a 2-point loss, is finding that same fate here today against a better defensive team than maybe the Irish in Louisville.
Yeah, the Cardinals held Cal under 30% from the field, and of course under 30% from the 3-point line as well on Wednesday. So their defense has continued to ratchet up. Chucky Hepburn already with 2 steals. And it's hard to determine, if you have to do so for this Cardinal team, who is their best defender. Because if we ask Pat Kelsey, he talks about their defensive intensity changed when Terrence Edwards started taking on the role of going out and defending the best opposing perimeter player. But Chucky Hepburn, who leads the ACC in steals, so both those guys vying for first-team all-defense.
Here is Hepburn working against Cameron on the switch by the Cardinals. Now here's Raynaud. Watch this. Hepburn, and he landed on the foot before he passed the ball, so that's a travel. Corey brings up an interesting conversation about the three teams. The top three teams in the tournament, I think one way or the other, are going to be Duke, Louisville, Clemson, right?
Yes.
Both teams have a calling card at the defensive end. All three have a calling card at the defensive end of the floor. And there is Hepburn on the steal. Chucky to the well against Blakes and didn't get the bounce. Hadley couldn't get the follow. Javon is fouled that time on the putback by Jalen Thompson.
I am very shocked that Chucky didn't drop that one off to Hadley for the dunk. I thought that's what he was looking back at the entire time. Of course, trying to get to the rim as quickly as he possibly can. Blake's did a good job of defending it, but I thought that was an easy drop-off opportunity for Chucky to find Hadley, who, of course, is, when you think about Chucky Hepburn, he normally has the eyes in the back of his head, finds every one of his teammates.
All right, so let me finish this thought with you going to next week. You like any of those three teams? You had to pick a favorite next week. Duke would certainly be a heavy favorite, just based on the regular season, right?
You would think that, but we also consider that the Blue Devils are a different team today than they will be next week. They won't have Jay Lucas, one of their assistant coaches, with them, who's had a tremendous amount of responsibility. Will they have Malik Brown back?
Good point.
So when you think about it, and again, that's the team that the Cardinals played against in December. So this Louisville team is a much better team today than they were in December, and they have something to prove against the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
The Blue Devils have something to prove against the Tigers, who have something to prove against the Cardinals. You see where I'm going here?
I understand, yeah. Here is Hepburn. Kick out for Scott. Now right back for Chucky Hepburn. That's going to be a foul on Scott as Blakes ran into it. Kyle Smith applauds the call at the Stanford bench on the 6'11" sophomore Scott.
I do believe there was a little bit of sarcasm in that round of applause.
Just a touch.
From Kyle Smith as you see Scott. And you got to maybe a little bit of sarcasm in that cheer.
That is the fourth foul on Louisville. Stanford also has 4 here in the first half with 2 and change to play. Raynaud's got a 3 and 1 free throw.
But one thing, when a defender goes away, they're not going to vacate the space. You're going to have multiple bodies around anytime Raynaud catches the basketball, especially with his back to the basket.
Scott picks up 2 quick fouls. That one on Jalen Thompson on the putback. So that'll send Thompson to the line where he is 7 for 8 at the stripe this year. This redshirt sophomore from Oakland, who played 14 minutes at Notre Dame the other night, had 2 points and 4 rebounds and is back on the floor here at this final minutes and change of the first half.
I believe Pat Kelsey's going to go with a much smaller lineup now, bringing Traore for Scott, who you mentioned just picked up that second foul. This is a lineup that Maxime Raynaud should be able to take advantage of. No one there to match his size and physicality for the Cardinals in the post.
But how fast will this lineup be?
Oh, they're going to be lightning fast. Whenever you've got Chucky Hepburn on the floor, you're going to be fast. It's something about how many guys does he bring along with him.
And Ruths has come back into the game as well as Hadley goes to work against Blakes. Chucky re-racks on Blakes. Had it blocked out of there. That was Thompson. Now they'll battle for it. Traore always in the fray for Louisville. To Roos, to Hadley, blocked Raynaud.
And that's the third block of the game by Raynaud. But how about the effort by Traore and what seemed to be a fast break opportunity for the Cardinal, getting on the floor, and only 0.5 second remaining here on the shot clock.
And Roger Ayers with Mark Schnurr and Tony Henderson. We got a Final Four crew, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Today. And Pat Kelsey is going to take the use it or lose it here. And I think Roger Ayers is going to go over to double check on the time remaining on the shot clock. Okay, Louisville by 13 with 1:43 to play here in this first half. And Roger Ayers and Tony Henderson have gone to the monitor here for as much about possession as clock, right, Torrey?
It absolutely is. And when you consider this, I don't know that Stanford...
After review, the shot clock will be reset to 1.6. Louisville ball in the baseline.
There we go.
And a great job by our officiating crew, as you mentioned, of a Final Four crew. But there was never possession by the Cardinal on there. Traore does a great job getting on the floor, getting the basketball back for the Cardinals, as we continue to emphasize the plural.
Oh, you do.
S.
You've got you're making sure you connect the S. I get you.
Well, these two teams have only played 3 times.
There's a reason.
In their storied history. This is the first time I've done one of the games, so you got to make sure we specify who we're talking about.
You mean you didn't do the 04, the 07 game?
No, I think I was still playing.
Here's Edwards forced a shot. That's a shot clock violation. And now Stanford, with 100 seconds to play in this first half, finds itself trailing 13.
Speaking of shot clock violation, the least favorite call of my guy Roger Ayers. Does not want to touch the top of that beautiful head of hair he has. And he breaks it down for me. It's Paul Mitchell. I can tell you that. I'm not sure which one, but it's absolutely Paul Mitchell styling gel that my guy uses.
Reynaud missed the kind of spinning hook shot.
Oh, nice.
Backdoor Roos the dunk. Terrence Edwards delivered a dime for the rookie's dunk.
And Edwards not just a scorer. He can be a playmaker as well. I think he's the perfect complement to Chucky Hepburn. Those two guys in the backcourt have really been special.
Thompson had it, and then Traore had it and lost it.
But you see Edwards off the bounce with so much attention being paid. Jalen Blakes gets lost watching the basketball, and a nice cut by Kenai Roos to be able to get to the rim and finish it off with a 15-point lead.
Sellers, Cameron. Back for Reynaud. Well, he clutched on it. Now Cameron from the corner with 10 to shoot. Sellers with 6 now. Cameron, step away 3. And Blakes went to battle for the rebound. He'll be called for over the back. Second on Jalen Blakes, 5th on the Cardinal with 39.1 to go. And here comes Benny Geeler back to replace Jalen Blakes with those 2 fouls. Last thing Kyle Smith needs is Blakes picking up a cheap third going to the locker room.
No, you don't want that to happen. It looks as though Stanford's going to be falling back into a zone defensively. I think we've seen this for a couple of possessions.
Yep. Geeler. Here's Waterman trying to beat Reynaud on the drive and couldn't finish it.
And give Reynaud a tremendous amount of credit. He's done the job defensively. Strong rim protection for the Cardinal.
And Maxime calling the play.
Oh, he can do that as well. You're talking about a very intelligent young man. Of course, playing at Stanford, I think they all are.
Yeah. Here's Reynaud with 5. 3 ball over the top of Roos is too strong. Rebound to Hadley. And from the timeline. Off the mark, wouldn't have counted anyway. Roger Ayers says. Louisville going to take.
Trying to find.
Stanford will put the ball in play here to start the half. Reynaud bounces it back to Blakes. They trail 15. It'll be telling here in the opening few minutes of this second half here. Reynaud with the left-hand hook, and it rolls in. There's his second field goal.
But the soft touch, using the left hand, the jump hook, and again, every time he catches the basketball in the paint, he's normally seeing multiple defenders, but great adjustment there by Kyle Smith, having him post right in the middle of the paint, know where the help can come from.
Well, we told you Louisville, 39% from the floor, just 2 of 11 from 3, though.
Well, that's a direct byproduct of no Rain Smith in the starting lineup. This is a better defensive team with Rain Smith off the floor. But offensively, they're not even close without their leading 3-point shooter.
Hepburn, the miss. Edwards tries. And Cameron doesn't give Louisville a 3rd chance. Louisville was also +5 on the glass and +2 in turnover margin in the first half.
And for Pat Kelsey, the thing is finding that balance. When you've got Rain Smith on the floor, he still expects for them to be better defensively. It's an opportunity for offensive rebound. Comes out of bounds. Agarwal got a hand on it, but no teammate available to tap it out to.
Yeah.
But that balance is, again, you can't replace Rain Smith's, presence on the offensive end.
Right.
The dude pretty much hits 4 threes a game. And not only is it the shots that he's making, but the attention that he gets from opposing defenses that often get his teammates open opportunities.
Hepburn kicks. Oh, look at Edwards. Waterman slides back baseline and scoring. Noah Waterman's got his second field goal, a 3 and a 2 for his 5.
And Waterman going off the bounce, getting to the rim, points in the paint. As the Cardinals continue to add to this lead.
Stanford, though, trails by 15 and has just 20 points in the game, and there's another Cardinal turnover.
But you see, as soon as the basketball is delivered, there are already 2 bodies. I believe they're going to get Chucky Hepburn for the offensive foul on that one, lowering the shoulder. Roger Ayers right on top of the call. And Jalen Blakes, who did this his entire career at Duke.
Oh, my God, did he.
And this is transferred as he gets in legal guarding position. And the reason why he's able to get that call, notice how his hands are out defensively, exposing his chest, showing that all the contact is forced by Chucky Hepburn, who just goes and takes the basketball back.
Yeah, Raynaud finally collected, and then he fired a pass out of bounds, trying to go to Campbell.
Fortunate for Raynaud, I thought he landed on someone's ankle as he threw that jump pass coming down, but an errant pass out of bounds. Another turnover for the Cardinal. And now they're 9 turnovers already in this game. Of course, the Cardinals force over 13.5 per game.
2 and change gone here in the second half. Hepburn in Louisville. And going to be a foul here. Roger Ayers on the whistle. It's on Kamen. Aiden Kamen, the redshirt freshman, his first, and the first on Stanford in this second half. The Cardinal have to be careful that Louisville does not throw another knockout punch. Remember, they had run of 13-0 and 9-0 in the first half.
Well, one thing is for certain and 2 things are for sure. It's going to be a run by the Cardinals. The question is, can the Cardinal find one here on the road to be able to get them back into this game?
Yeah, they've had a hard time finding any offensive momentum. Continuity for sure. And now a foul on Waterman. It's a hard guard for Noah Waterman, I think. Don't you?
It is, but as you see, as soon as the basketball is delivered, there's already another defender. Hadley is on his way to help Waterman out, so he's only going to have to guard for a brief period of time. They're going to force Raynaud to get rid of the basketball.
So Waterman's got 2, Scott's got 2, and Kadir Traore has come back on the floor wearing 25. He defends Raynaud. Blake's a triple outside. And knocked around, and it looks like Edwards saw Kamen touch it last and let it go out of bounds.
So Maxime Raynaud immediately goes over to Jalen Blakes, daps him up, and encourages him. He's going to have to take that shot.
Yeah.
Because they're going to sit in the lap of Maxime Raynaud anytime he gets the basketball. Chucky Hepburn stayed with him, forcing Blakes to have to beat them from beyond the arc.
Hadley to work against Blakes, and it's off Hadley, and Louisville turns it over.
Great job defensively by Blakes on that possession. You see, he can absolutely be just as much of a defensive pest as can Chucky Hepburn. The problem is he can't do it on the offensive end like Chucky.
You're on the stump for Jalen Blakes potentially being the most improved player in the ACC.
I do believe that he absolutely is. You consider that he scored 2 points a game a season ago for the Blue Devils as Raynaud knocks down the corner 3 ball. And now it's up almost 12 points a game.
Yeah.
A differential, but more importantly, the leadership he's brought. I mean, you got to think about this team has a chance to get to the 7th seed in the ACC, and a lot of that has to do with Jalen Blakes bringing that leadership. And by the way, he's got 2 game winners to his credit this week.
Yes, he does. Hepburn a 3, bounces out. Raynaud another rebound. 8 rebounds now for Maxime to go with his 9 points.
WD, for all the NBA scouts that are in the building today, they've seen that twice where Raynaud goes and gets the basketball at his highest point. That's what you want to see from a rebounder, especially a 7-foot guy who can also put the ball on the floor and make threes.
Josiah Sellers, shot clock at 5, working on Traore. Fall away in traffic, missed everything and saved, but Nope, shot clock violation will be the ticket. That'll get us to a break. Just better than 4 minutes into the second half. Pat Kelsey's team in charge. We go all access next. So, Corey, we've been fortunate to see Pat Kelsey at different intervals during the season with this first Louisville team of his. It's sacrilege to say this. I remember Rick Pitino's first team down the road. Remember the Unforgettables in the early 90s?
I was
late
recruited
80s?
by that guy.
Yeah.
During that time.
That team, remember the one that had John Pelfrey, Richie Farmer, some other guys on it? That team is still held in such high esteem.
It really is.
I think the Cardinal team that Pat Kelsey has here, it's going to start out and maybe only get bigger depending on how the next 3, 4, 5 teams go here in Louisville.
Well, I honestly believe that the next 3, 4, 5 are going to be successful because of the guy that we're talking about. The difference between is that those guys 35 years ago were here for 4 years.
That's it. Good point.
Now you're talking about guys who are one and done. And when you consider Chucky Hepburn, Terrence Edwards, these guys will only play one season in this uniform. So I agree wholeheartedly with PK was talking about in our all-access point. They are the team that is going to bring back the glory to this traditionally historic program, but they're not going to be here long enough to truly see the benefits of it.
Yeah, but they're going to be remembered. There's the driving bucket for Blakes, who's now got 5. And you cannot, every time you're around the program, the number one thing you come away with is the energy is so big.
But that's a reflection of your head coach.
Yep.
And again, we've been around, many coaches, or let's just say that's the word, many coaches.
Yep.
And there are a lot of them that are enthusiastic, but not all of them are authentic. With Pat Kelsey, it is authentic energy, enthusiasm. The reason why they have doubled the win production over the last 2 seasons is because of this man right here and what he has brought to this community, to this university, the stability. But more importantly, it's important to him each and every day, which means to his players, it has to be important. Otherwise, you can't play for him.
Yeah. It's impressive to watch. It's been fun to watch, too.
It's very, very fun to watch. I'm telling you, coming to a shoot-around, as we see Rayno get the tip in and making a 10-point game, you come to a shoot-around, Pat Kelsey almost has me feeling like I can play basketball again.
And then you remember how sore you are.
I remember. I just had a hip replacement 6 months ago.
Here's Roos on the drive. Kanai Roos has got a dunk and a layup for his 4.
But give the Cardinal a lot of credit for the way they've approached the second half. They've scored half the points that they scored, only 18 the first half. They've already scored 9 here in the second half in the first 6+ minutes. So playing much better offensively. And this guy is starting to get it going, WD. We talk about the points scored in this second half. 7 of them are from Rayno.
Yep, 10 now in the half. He's got 14 in the ball game, and Maxime's starting to find the groove. But still a 9-point lead for number 14 Louisville. Hadley knocks down Blakes and scores. Javon Hadley's got 7. That was nothing but tough right there.
It really was, and went through Blake. Blake's trying to get another offensive foul called against the Cardinals. Unsuccessful.
3-ball, Agarwal. Wow, second 3. Third 3 in the half. First of the day for Ryan Agarwal, the sophomore from Coppell, Texas. And now Louisville wants a timeout.
WD has taken 3 halves for the Cardinal to get comfortable here, but they've done so in this second half.
Well, Stanford's made a little run here. They've hit their last 3 shots on the floor and a couple of them from distance.
They've been doing it from beyond the arc. Maxime Rayno showing off his touch. Ryan Agarwal knocking down the 3-ball. And just like that, now it's a single-digit game. The Cardinal getting it back to within 8. And you look at the numbers for Maxime Rayno, only 1 of 6 in the first half for 4 points, but a perfect 4 of 4 in this second half. 10 points in the second half already. And he continues to get warmer and warmer as this game goes along.
18,707 looking on today, Corey. Largest crowd since February of 2020. And the 4th largest crowd in the last 6 years here today at the KFC Young Center. And they get a dunk from Scott off the Edwards feed.
The great adjustments by Pat Kelsey, recognizing his team on the wrong side of momentum here on their home floor, and get the building right back into it.
And a 3 ball from Renaud, bounds short and out of bounds on the air ball.
Mark Schnurr, Maxime Renaud having a little conversation on the way back.
And in this particular setup, we get to see Edwards handle the ball. And this is kind of what you were talking about earlier, Hepburn on the bench. And now all of a sudden, this guy becomes the primary guy. And here's an outlet off the miss.
That's a tough pass.
And Sellers tried to save it, threw it away.
Missed opportunity by the Cardinals. And the Cardinals taking advantage of all their opportunities, especially when you get James Scott at the rim, maybe the best lob threat in the ACC.
All right, number 12, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to brush up on your week in Charlotte.
All right.
ACC Player of the Year resume. We got Player 1, Player 2.
Yep.
Can you tell me who Player 1 is and who Player 2 is?
The player on the left is not only the ACC Player of the Year, but he may be the National Player of the Year in Cooper Flag. And on the other side would be Maxime Renaud, who in any other year, outside of there being a generational talent in the league, would be the ACC Player of the Year. But this one here is an easy one. Do you guys realize how many Duke games I've called this year? I know these numbers by heart. But I appreciate Bobby trying to surprise me.
Yeah, our producer, Bobby Blankenship, thought he was going to throw a little knuckleball by you.
It's going to be tough trying to surprise me with anything Duke related.
Yeah.
I'm in double figures with the Blue Devils this year.
Double figures. Louisville by 10. Cardinals with the ball out of the timeout. Traore has stayed on the floor. He got Scott out of the lineup during the break, I think. Or no, it was, beg your pardon, Tadley out of the lineup. And there's Terrence Edwards to work.
And just like that, after the Cardinal got into an 8-point game, a 5-0 run by Louisville to be able to push it back out to 13. Terrence Edwards now in double figures, has had a great shooting game, but a big 3 on that end.
Keeler can't get through it. And now Renaud left open, another 3 away. Traore, the rebound. And here is the straw that stirs the drink, Hepburn.
Oh, Chucky going back to the basket. A little post match between the two smallest guys on the floor.
Traore between Thompson and Renaud. Waterman's 3.
I really love what the Cardinals have gotten from Waterman over the last 2 games. No Rain Smith on the floor. Waterman, of course, doesn't provide that type of offense, but he is a capable 3-point shooter. His second of the game today, but more importantly, what he does on the defensive end of the floor helps his team win games.
Well, Terrence Edwards we know about, especially after the 35 the other night. Will step away 3 on Thompson. But if Smith is a game or 2 maybe further from health, Waterman's presence becomes more important.
And this is a better defensive team with Waterman on the floor. When you really think about it, again, I love Rain Smith and what he brings to his team, but he doesn't bring the defensive intensity, the size that you see from Waterman on that defensive end.
8-0 run the last 2 minutes for the Ville. Don't forget, Championship Sunday tomorrow. The women's game day crew will be in Greenville at the SEC Championship. It's a noon start Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Get you ready for 6 title games, highlighted by 3 of them on ESPN. The Ally ACC Championship from Greensboro starts at 1, followed by the SEC, and then the Phillips 66 Big 12 title follows that. It's all championship women's hoops on Sunday afternoon on ESPN. Champ Week presented for you by Principal.
Great mix-up by Pat Kelsey going full court, 94-foot pressure, forcing Maxime Renaud to have to run 60 feet to get the basketball inbound, throwing the Cardinal a little bit off guard on this possession.
Chisholm Akpara into traffic, working against Waterman, bullies his way up. Ball got knocked away. Akpara cleans it up. Keeler a 3. And the rebound, Agrawal. And then he turns it over almost out of the double team. He'll bounce it to Keeler. He'll race baseline and draw the foul on Edwards. My goodness. What a fray.
That was a tremendous defensive possession by Louisville, except for they didn't finish the possession. They gave up the offensive rebound,
right?
And which has been something that over the last couple of games they've been susceptible to, is offensive rebounding. Already double figures, 11 offensive rebounds now for Stanford. And this is an area of concern for Pat Kelsey, because for all that they do so well, once you start playing against the competition that you're going to face in the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament,
here we go.
You can't afford to go double-figure offensive rebounding, which they've done in the last 2 games, 13 to Cal and now 11 here tonight.
Gieler, a former walk-on who was given a scholarship by Kyle Smith, knocks down both free throws. And it's all of a sudden a 14-point game.
That's how smart you got to be a walk-on at Stanford. You got to get in.
That is true.
You first off, I mean, and not that they don't have tremendous academic requirements for their athletes, but there may be some exceptions there. But when you get in on your own merit and then come play basketball, come on, man.
Under 10 to go. Louisville by 14, trying to take a 9-game win streak to the postseason. Traore baseline. Quickly Waterman, shot fake on Reynaud, took the bump. Continuation will be waved off. Crowd was hoping. And it would have been waved off, and then there'd have been boos.
And Waterman could have actually made it 3 free throws if he would have just taken the contact with Reynaud in the air. But that would have hurt a lot worse. For the record, been there, done that. We'll never do it again.
First foul on Reynaud is the 3rd on Stanford here in the half. And Roger Ayers is offering a spot on the baseline for Chucky Hepburn to put it in play. Here's Traore working against Gieler. Abubakar is a terrific athlete in traffic. Plays a lot bigger than the 6'5" would list. 8 to shoot. Here's Edwards. Tried to go behind the back. Agarwal commits the foul. First on Ryan Agarwal. It's the 4th on Stanford. And here comes Ruths and Hadley back for Waterman and Traore. So Kadir sits down.
I love the conversation right now. Maxime Reynaud, Roger Ayers having a talk. Reynaud walks away from it smiling. Normally the way I walk away from my conversations with Roger Ayers.
Hepburn couldn't finish it, got the rebound back. Edwards splits, challenges Reynaud, foul. 2nd at this end of the floor on Maxime, 5th on Stanford, and Terrence Edwards is going to go to the line. You see look at this. Last time making more free throws than opponent attempts was 1974-75.
74-75 was a good year, WD.
I was born. Well, hang on real quick. Let me remind folks about UFC 313 tonight in Vegas, highlighted by the light heavyweight title fight and Justin Gaethje's return to the octagon. Prelims start at 8 on ESPN News and ESPN Plus in English and Spanish. Main card at 10 Eastern. On pay-per-view. To get the main card, go to espnplus.com/ppv. 75, by the way, Louisville lost in the national championship game at San Diego to John Wooden in his final game as the Bruin head coach, and you were born.
And that was, no, I was born in 73. I was born during that time, but was that Walton? That was
Bill Walton's last game was in the Greensboro Coliseum, 1974 semifinal loss to
NC State.
NC State.
There you go. I knew NC State, and most likely the greatest ACC player of all time.
And knocked away Akpara. Here's a Louisville turnover. Chisholm to the basket against Roos. Couldn't finish. Agarwal does.
Chisholm's played with great energy, but he's had a hard time finishing with those opportunities right around the rim. But another offensive rebound allows the Cardinal to get second chance points.
8.5 to go. Louisville by 14. Scott back on the floor. A little ball screen for Edwards. Here's Hadley on the catch. double teamed immediately. Yep. Hepburn, 3 to shoot, runs it up there against Kamen. Leaking out is Akpara, and he'll finish that time.
And just like that, the Cardinal back within 12. This second half has been all about runs. And now Stanford answering with another one with a stop here, an opportunity to get it back to 10.
So you got Hepburn, Hadley, and Edwards with the ball on the floor. Javon on Agarwal. Had it ripped away Kamen. Here's Akpara again. He's got Sellers with him. Chisholm on the drive, and back-to-back field goals for the big man from Bronxville, New York.
Akpara must have heard me talking about him struggling to finish because he's finished off the last 2 possessions. I was concerned as to whether he would even take that second one, but does, and it has success making it a 10-point game.
Pat Kelsey gets Chucky Hepburn to slow things down here. 10-point lead for the number 14 team in the country. 6 to shoot for Terrence Edwards against Sellers. Into traffic he goes and puts it up. Rebound, Agarwal. A bucket here, Corey. And Osiah Sellers has been quiet. After 8 in the first half, he's scoreless in the second half. 6-0 Stanford run.
And they've made that run without Maxime Reynaud on the floor.
Here's Sellers, 2-pointer. Nope. Back rim miss. Roos slapped it out. Tapped away Edwards. Against Blakes. Score. A dozen for Terrence Edwards Jr.
But it's also knowing the scouting report. You know Jalen Blakes is trying to get in position to take a charge. Great play by Terrence Edwards Jr. to avoid picking up the offensive foul and getting the bucket in transition.
12-point game again. Akpara squared up from 3. Drives in traffic and foul. Mark Schnurr on the whistle. And it's going to be the 3rd on James Scott. 5 on Louisville and free throws when we come back. Wake Forest leading big against Georgia Tech at halftime in Winston-Salem.
But the case for Georgia Tech, if they end up in that 8th spot, which they very well could, you don't want a bad loss walking into the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
That could be counterproductive as well.
Yep. And the Jackets trailed by 20 in the second half at Winston-Salem.
In which I'm sure is senior night in Winston-Salem. However, it may not be their last game in that building this year.
That's right. Yep. A familiar tale is weaving itself again in Winston, isn't it?
It absolutely is, which means it could be an NIT bid in comparison to an NCAA bid this year.
Hepburn on the kick. Edwards stepped left, 3 ball away. Nope, bounds down. And Roos gives Louisville a second chance. Edwards will skip for Waterman. That'll spin out. Reynaud a rebound.
That's a double-double, the 23rd of the season for Maxime Reynaud, which is leading the nation.
Yep. Oscar Clough of South Dakota State is who he was tied with, and there's a foul underneath, and I think it's on Chucky Hepburn. It'll be his 3rd, 6th on the Ville.
And of course, I believe that you know all things, so I ask you this question. South Dakota State, is that the Jackrabbits or is it South Dakota?
No, South Dakota State, you're right. That's the Jackrabbits.
South Dakota State is the Jackrabbits.
South Dakota is the Coyotes.
Ah, okay.
Here's Reynaud at the line. 79% on the year, and he is now 1 for 3 today.
Yeah, it hasn't been a strong suit in this game. And of course, it's such a crucial point throughout this. At the time of this game, you need all those. But look at the improvement from Maxime Reynaud. Last season, he was the Pac-12's most improved player. This season, he's one of the ACC's best.
And he is a ticket for first team. You can already cash it.
Yeah, the question for him is, will he be first round? Because he's absolutely going to play in the association.
Oh, my.
It's simply now based upon where he gets drafted, as many NBA scouts have shown up today throughout this one to watch Maxime Reynaud. And Kyle Smith going with a 1-3-1 zone defensively. throwing the cards a little bit out of kilter.
Hadley fights through the baseline and scores.
But that's the one area you're always going to be exposed against a 1-3-1. Along that baseline, it's a long run for that bottom defender to try to guard multiple players as the ball changes sides.
Boy, Hepburn really digging in on Agarwal with 4:40 to play. Now here's Akpara against Waterman. Talk about digging in. Look at Chisholm to work with the right hand and scoring.
I'll tell you what, Chisholm's never seen a shot that he didn't like. He has been getting his looks at it 3 of 8 from the field in this one. And once he catches it, he's got a one-track mind. At that time, he was successful.
Tell you what, he is a truckload of trouble, isn't he? From a physical standpoint. Akpara is 6'8", 240. Played at Harvard. His sister, volleyball player at Stanford, by the way. He averaged 17 and 5 a year ago for Tommy Amaker. He's averaging 6 and 2 here this year for Kyle Smith.
Oh, you want to talk about sisters? Jalen Blake's sister, Michaela.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, terrific player. Hadley the and one. Foul is going to be on Osiah Sellers.
Underneath out of bounds play just puts Hadley in a position to be able to play one-on-one. These two guys, of course, Hadley coming from Colorado, Sellers coming from USC. They're familiar with each other, both in the Pac-12 a season ago. And Hadley able to win that battle, but misses the chance for a three-point play.
He feels like the tough guy bucket.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Reynaud slipped the screen and couldn't catch the bullet pass from Agarwal. Here is Edwards, lobs, and boy, he threw it to Goshen. Scott was the intended receiver, but that one got thrown up Main Street.
Well, Hadley attacking the baskets, able to finish along the baseline as he's been the star as of late.
Well, just a gorgeous Saturday afternoon here in Derby City. Stanford trailing a dozen to number 14 Louisville, who's trying to do their part on this final day of the regular season. There's Rain Smith, who missed most of the ball game on Wednesday night against Cal with a lower leg injury and is out today. But Corey, timing is sometimes not in your favor. And this is his family who traveled, and friends, 9,000 miles from Ulverstone in Tasmania on the Australian continent to be here for his final collegiate home games. Now they're going to stay and they'll be around Charlotte next week and hopefully the NCAA the following week. His mom, Penny, and their family and friends, and that's a tough one on a senior day, man.
It really is a tough one on senior day, but fortunately for them, they will be at the ACC tournament, and I believe here through at least the first round of the NCAA tournament where the Cardinals will absolutely be participating. So most likely Rain will be back, and they will have an opportunity to see him get back on to the floor in what could be the most meaningful games throughout his college basketball career.
Terrific player, Charleston for Pat Kelsey. He's been just a really impactful ad here. Agarwal missed the three, line drive shot, outlet. Here is Edwards, layup good. He snuck around Osiah Sellers for the layup.
And you know, we came in talking about this backcourt. You talk about Chucky Hepburn and, of course, Terrence Edwards Jr., two guys who could very well be on the first-team All-ACC team. And we don't talk about Hadley, who really has been the guy for the Cards, especially here in the second half, making plays on both ends of the floor and providing that energy and effort.
Reynaud, right hand, scores. Boy, Maxime Reynaud is so much fun to watch. That's 15 and 11 now on his, or actually 17 and 11 on his 6th field goal.
But every time he catches the basketball, he sees red jerseys all around him. The Cardinals trying to force him to kick it out and make someone else beat them.
Blake's defending Hepburn. Hadley against Agarwal. 4 to shoot. Chucky lobs for Scott.
That's his chemistry. Great connection. James Scott knows whenever Chucky has the basketball to be prepared to go up top because his point guard will absolutely deliver.
Louisville by 14 and a foul called. And we got Reynaud and
Chucky Hepburn tossing it up. Scott with the finish. One of the reasons why he's second nationally in dunks, over 70 now, is Traore and Maxime Reynaud have a little conversation, and it really was Traore who took exception. Reynaud got the call and just walked away. Traore had something to say to him.
Yeah.
Of course, Pat Kelsey loves the effort from Traore. As you mentioned, plays much larger than his 6'5" stature.
Reynaud at the line, 21 years of age from Paris. And missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Cards front court with 2 minutes to go. Scott. For Edwards. Stanford really extending the pressure here defensively.
Yeah, give Reynaud a lot of credit. He got after it on that possession defensively, guarded multiple players, stepping out, hedging the screen and roll, and then eventually switching.
Corey, he showed us a lot today. In a losing effort, I think, but nonetheless, he's shown us a lot.
He really has, and again, you've been fortunate to watch him a number of times live throughout this year. He's shown me something different each and every time, just like on that defensive possession. This is the first time I've seen that type of effort on the defensive end of the floor.
95 seconds to go. Louisville by 14. Hepburn with 1 on the shot clock. How about that?
You couldn't have asked for a better offensive possession by Chucky Hepburn. Keep it, waste as much time as possible, and then, of course, go with the highlight level finish at the end of the shot clock.
Minute to go, and the crowd, the largest they've had here in 5 years and change, loves it.
I'm shocked that Pat Kelsey's actually not going to get these guys off the floor. And maybe he will with the foul, maybe he will, but give each and every one of these guys who are playing their last game, and Hepburn and Edwards, as well as Hadley, give them an opportunity for this tremendous crowd here at KFC Yum Center to applaud them.
So here's Hepburn. And he made the front end.
And that's exactly what's going to happen now. They're going to get, well, this may be a substitution for Scott.
Here comes Absalom Ebay for James Scott. And Abubakar Traore will come back to replace Javon
There's Hadley.
Yep.
There you go.
And Roos, I think, is next. No, he stays on the bench. Hepburn knocks down the free throw. Chucky with 4.5, 16 in the game. Louisville by 18 points. We're under a minute to go. And Keeler being hounded by Hepburn. Keeler in a double team and trying to cash out, does to Tammon.
And Coach Kelsey asking them to foul. Why did they foul in that possession? We'll call the timeout now and roll it to get their subs onto the floor.
Yep. So Kenai Roos is going to come in, and I think Chucky Hepburn is going to get the curtain call here.
He replaces number 24.
And a long kiss for the Cardinal. Terrence Edwards is going to get a curtain call.
I'll tell you, those two guys alongside Rain Smith and Hadley will get a tremendous amount of credit, as well as Waterman, for bringing the Cards back.
Yep.
And for those who are not believers, there hasn't been a tremendous amount of national attention, but the Cards are absolutely back.
And Traore will be the last off the floor. And here's Spencer Legg in his 26th career game. And he'll get Anselm Ebay. So those that are available now have all come off the floor for Louisville.
And each and every one of those guys will be celebrated in a ceremony after the game.
And baseline, Roos missed the dunk. And Kanai will save it. Sherman a three. How about it? First field goal of the year for Cole Sherman. And Akpara fouled going to the basket with 12.3 to go.
And Akpara, by attacking and getting fouled, gives the Cards another opportunity to get someone a shot. You love to see guys who have put in the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears to support a program get the opportunity to come in late game on their senior night and knock down a three ball.
Akpara got the roll on the second one. Here's Patrick Antonelli into the front court, working against Akpara. 3, 2, 1, 68-48 the final. Pat Kelsey's team goes to 25-6, and they finish the ACC at 18-2. Stanford goes regular season 19-12, 11-9 in ACC play. Then the Cards now will sit and wait, Corey, after a terrific home finale performance.
And it's been a terrific season, a terrific regular season for Pat Kelsey. This would be a record, 18 ACC wins. The Blue Devils have gotten here first and have a chance for 19, but a tremendous resurgence by the Louisville Cardinals in this 24-25 season.
Thanks to our producer, Bobby Blankenship, our terrific crew, Wes Durham from Louisville. Now here's Aria Masudi and Eric Devendorf.